Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayantirya Nashtiprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhavati Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhagavati Naishtiki. So, continuing with the discussion on chapter 13, Bhagavad Gita, entitled Nature, the Enjoyer, and the Consciousness. Text 8 through 12. So, somehow I couldn't finish it properly yesterday. Amanitvam adambam, amanitvam adambitvam, ahinsakshad shantirarjavam, acharya upasanam shocham, stharyam atma vinigraha, indriyartheshu vairagyam, ahankara eva cha, janma mrityu jara vyadhi, dukh doshan darshanam, asaktir anbhishvanga putradhar grihadishu, nityam cha sam Chittattvam ishtanishtopatishu mai chanya yogena bhaktir vyabicharini viviktadesha sevitvam aratir jan sansiddhi adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam etad jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yatto anyatha. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master. Cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification. Absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease. Detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest. Even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. So there are 20 qualities that Krishna is speaking about, and he said these are the knowledge. Or basically, these are the qualities a self-realized soul has to develop, or he should have. Let's see what Prabhupada says. This process of knowledge is sometimes misunderstood by less intelligent men as being the interaction of the field of activity. But actually, this is the real process of knowledge. If one accepts this process, then the possibility of approaching the absolute truth exists. This is not the interaction of the 24 elements as described above. This is actually the means to get out of the entanglement of those elements. So these 24 elements that are described in the previous verses, of course, our body, which is called here field of activity, kshetra, is made up of these 24 elements. Plus there is soul and plus there is super soul. But these 24 elements interact and they produce different kinds of results. But actually, why all this is mentioned here is one should develop these qualities and get out of this 24 elements, or the body which is made up of 24 elements. This is what Prabhupada is writing. This is actually the means to get out of the entanglement. So knowledge really means that liberates us, not that binds us. The embodied soul is entrapped by the body, which is a casing made of 24 elements. And the process of knowledge as described here is a means to get out of it. So if we remember in second chapter, when Prabhupada is saying there is um, what was that? There is knowledge, there is pure knowledge, and there is purest knowledge. Or we can say there is devotional service, pure devotional service, more, or purest form of devotional service. So, so one was there's a difference between the body and soul. One is to know, and beyond that, that knowing that the soul is to be engaged in the service of Krishna. And the third is purest devotion, pure devotion service, which is to be engaged completely, surrendered in service of Krishna. So that knowledge is liberating. And this is what Prabhupada is talking about here. The process of knowledge is described herein is to means to get out of it. Of all the descriptions of process of knowledge, the most important point is described in the first line of the 11th verse, which is Mai cha ananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini. So from a devotion point of view, yes, this is a ultimate point for us. But from Jnani's point of view, they have the last line, the philosophical search for the absolute truth. So that is for them is the ultimate thing. But anyway, for every self-realized soul, self-realized persons, these are the qualities one has to develop. So if one does not approach or is not able to approach the transcendental service of the Lord, then the other 19 items are of no particular value. But if one takes to the devotion service in full Krishna consciousness, the other 19 items automatically develop within him. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasyasti bhaktir bhakti akinchana, sarver gunestatra samasate sura. All the good qualities of knowledge develop in one who has attained the stage of devotional service. So, yes, like Srimad Bhagavatam says, so one who has come to that level of devotion service, the qualities, all these qualities of knowledge or qualities of, it is said, samasate suraha, qualities of demigods are developed in that person. But devotional service is a process. It's not like one day we wake up and we are pure devotees. So it's a process. We slowly, organically, we make progress. So more we make progress, and so more these qualities will keep on developing within us. But at the same time, as Prabhupada also mentions here or somewhere else, we have to see if we are getting these qualities, we are developing these qualities within us or not. All the good qualities of knowledge develop in one who has attained the stage of devotion service. The principle of accepting a spiritual master, as mentioned in the 8th verse, is essential. Even for one who takes to devotional service, it's most important. Transcendental life begins when one accepts a bona fide spiritual master. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, clearly states here that this process of knowledge is the actual path. Anything speculated beyond this is nonsense. So if Krishna says this is the actual path, so we must believe it and work on it. As for the knowledge outlined here, the items may be analyzed as follows. Humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction being honored by others. Of humility should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. Means should not look for respect from others. If somebody gives, fine. If somebody doesn't, still it's fine. But at the same time, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions in Shikshashtakam, one should still be ready to give respect to others. That is even more difficult. Okay, somebody is not giving me respect, somebody is not honoring me, somebody doesn't care for me. It's okay. But to give respect to him in return, even though he doesn't know my glories or he doesn't acknowledge my glories, that is a more difficult thing to do. And like later on we'll see simplicity. That's also quality. So means like I have seen many places, and if you meet politicians, they even if you don't recognize honor them, ulterior motivation. And if they smile at your face behind the back, they're ready to stab you, or in their heart they're thinking, "I'll get you one of these days. Right now, it's your good times. Let it roll." Something like that. That's not simple behavior. That's crooked. That's cunning. So that kind of person cannot make progress in. One has to be very simple and just look at it. Still give honor to others. The material conception of life makes us very eager to receive honor from others. But from the point of view of a man in perfect knowledge, who knows that he is not this body, anything, honor and dishonor, pertaining to this body is useless. And actually, if we are anxious for honor and we don't like dishonor, actually they're two sides of the same coin. Then we are getting more and more attached to this body and getting more and more entangled in this body concept of life. If we analyze our life, we try to make money for that. When we why? Of course, kids when they're little they don't care, but the parents care. Parents are like, oh, if you're not gonna get good grades, how are you gonna make good living? At the same of having the neighbors or relatives or office co-workers or everybody else. No, I have a very brilliant child at home. So I need the honor. I need the respect. Of course, when the kid grows up, maybe whatever grade these days, they grow up in seventh, eighth, ninth, 10, whatever, then they also try to show off among their group, either with good grades, and if they're not that smart, then they show up differently in good clothes, good hairstyle, or how many, okay, if it is a boy, then how many girls he can go out with, or whatever he becomes more popular, or cricket, or movies, or whatever. They just everybody wants people to recognize them. But what is this? This is just basically a of life. And parents also encourage that. And then he has to get good numbers in some college, so he gets good admission. So basically, it's honor for him and for the parents and for the relatives. Or or he or she does something else, achieve some other achievement. Of course, at the same time, somebody will say, "Oh, if there is no such thing, then what's a life? What's for? What is it for?" Actually, the life is for self-realization. If you look at the when we come to this topic in Srimad Bhagavatam, Jad Bharat. Jad Bharat was Bharat Maharaj in his previous life, and he got entangled with a deer, and then he had to take the birth of a deer. Not previous life, previous 2 lives back, and then when he was born again as in a human being, then he was called Jad Bharat. Jad Bharat means like Muda. He used to act like he was a Muda, like a crazy man. Why? He didn't want honor from people. He was self-realized soul. But he would do exactly the opposite of what his father would tell him, what his elder brothers would tell him. He knew what he was doing. They would literally treat him very badly. They kicked the brothers after the father died. The brothers kicked him out, and he was very happy. Why? Because in that way he could concentrate on his real mission, which was self-realization. And if he was stuck with the honor and dishonor thing, then he thought he will get entangled. And at the right time, Krishna always makes arrangement. Of course, Krishna wants his devotees to be honored. The right time, his glories were broadcast two ways. One was when he gave wonderful, when we read Bhagavatam, we'll see that he gave wonderful instructions to Maharaj Rahugana. And at another time, some dacoits, they came and they wanted one sacrifice from Mother Kali. And they grabbed Jadbharat. They say, he's like a dumb and deaf and dull person, so we will just sacrifice him. And Jadbharat went with them. He didn't even resist. What to talk about honor or dishonor? He wasn't even resisting for somebody was going to kill him. He went with them. And they were ready to sacrifice him. They had put him on the sacrificial block. And they were the decoy, and he did not resist, did not protest anything. They were ready to chop off his head. They had taken up the chopper, and Mother Kali appeared from the deity, and she took the chopper and killed all the dacoits. Why? Because she could not see a Vaishnav being tortured, harassed like that. That is real glory. That is real honor. Like in Bhagavatam, Ashvavidvaraha, like people who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. They glorify those people who have the similar characteristics, except then the people who are glorifying Krishna, or who are engaged in listening to the glories of Krishna. So people who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses, they also like to glorify others. Dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. They don't care for Vaishnavism. But actually, the satisfaction of dishonored by others, he doesn't care. He knows he's not this body, and like I was saying, so somehow I got distracted. So one goes to college and the one makes money. What is the money for exactly? Is it for the real necessities of life? For that we need very little money actually. The rest of the money we spend to show off. If I have a nice car, if I have a nice house, nice clothes, and many times we show off by going on vacation. So even if we don't go, we at least we put the pictures on WhatsApp and Facebook, somehow Photoshop it, and so people recognize and people give us some respect. They're not realizing this respect is not for us. This respect is for either the car or the house or the clothes or whatever we are showing off. And moreover, it's not even real respect. It's hardly very few people who would be there who would really be happy by our achievements. Most of them will be envious or jealous. People get so jealous that This is a story. It was Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that in village there was a boy. He was very brilliant. So he came from a very poor family. He was a very brilliant boy. By his studies, he worked hard, and he became a magistrate. So this boy can't. Now they get jealous, they envious because their boys were not that smart. They were still working in the fields. They say, "Oh, he must have become magistrate, but he must not be getting any salary. Just for namesake, he became a magistrate." They're so jealous. And similarly, even if we show off our wealth or our achievements to others, people aren't jealous, and they'll try to put us down one way or the other. So, so if we think we will be honored by others for our achievements or for our assets, it really it's not true. Only people who will be satisfied are really very close relatives, very close friends, or those people who are really simple, really care situation, he'll be happy, more happy if a person makes advancement in bhakti. So that is real humility, not anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. And actually, nobody really honors us. They really, inside, they must be jealous or might be jealous, but outsidely, because to find a person who's very true, it's very difficult, very, very difficult. True at heart, not or simple at heart, not being cunning. It's very difficult. So, Prabhupada is further writing, one should not be hankering after this material deception. People are very anxious to be famous for their religion, and consequently, sometimes it is found that without understanding, enters into some groups and then wants to advertise himself as a religious mentor. So that's also one kind of honor people look for, especially religious or in spirituality. They come into these kind of societies or these kind of groups just to have more honor. And actually, I mean, even in ISKCON, we have seen people come because ISKCON has a good reputation by Prabhupada's mercy, and look at the wonderful book that is given them. Try to come to it. So they pose themselves as very spiritual person. So they either they get good business contacts, or maybe they can get a good job or good girl to marry to. Some people do know. Of course, devotees, or like we have seen from Prabhupada's examples, that he would still welcome and he would still give them the Harinam, so at least by chanting they will get some purification. But if in the heart there is some ulterior motive, then we know if maybe the devotees cannot figure it out, but Krishna is super smart. Like he said, no, 11th chapter or 10th chapter, of all the kinds of cheating, I'm gambling. So he is a supermost cheater, has to. So we cannot cheat him. So we uh, cannot pose anything in front of him than other than what we are. He knows everything. He is sitting in the heart also. So he knows every single thought that he knows. So it's better to be, if not among devotees, it's better to be clear or clean in front of Krishna. Okay, we have different kinds of propensities in our heart. We can ask him for forgiveness. We can ask him for the strength to clean those propensities, to get rid of those negative ulterior motives, negative things that are in our heart, and just give us a bhakti. We can at least pray to us. But any kind of duplicity, it doesn't last over there. So similarly, any kind of duplicity that we enter the spiritual society, but for name, fame, money, power, position, except bhakti, that doesn't last too long. So actual advancement in spiritual science, he can judge by these items. So that's what Prabhupada is writing. So we have to see ourselves. Am I really humble? Or am I really anxious to get honored by others? Or I don't care. And I still do the right thing. That's what we have to see. Next quality. Non-violence. Non-violence is generally taken to mean not killing or destroying the body. But actually, non-violence means not to put others into distress. People in general are trapped by ignorance in the material concept of life, and they perpetually suffer material pain. So, unless one elevates people to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence. One should try his best to distribute real knowledge to the people so that they may become enlightened and leave this material entanglement. That is non-violence. So Prabhupada is saying non-violence is really mean not killing, not to put others into distress, into any kind of distress. Physically, mentally, emotionally, any kind of distress. That is violence. So distress can be by our body, by our words, by our thoughts. We can put others in distress. Of course, when we preach, sometimes people get distressed, or at least, or if you're preaching to a husband, then the wife sometimes doesn't like it, and if you're preaching to wife, the husband doesn't like it. If you're preaching to kids, the parents don't like it. That's a different kind of distress. So we cannot stop that. But at least as far as possible, even that preaching should be in such a way that there should not be any kind of discord in the family by our behavior, by our dealing with others. Inadvertently or unknowingly, it can happen or it happens, then we should be ready to ask for forgiveness. That's a devotee. That is one who is making progress. And proper people to spiritual, really high level of non-violence means this preaching is actually non-violence. If we are not preaching, if we have the capability, and by Prabhupada's mercy, everybody who is following Prabhupada, to whatever extent, he has the capacity, he has the capability to deliver the spiritual knowledge to others. We might not have the capability to transform anybody's heart. And That is never in our hands anyway. That's in the hands of Krishna and Prabhupada. Our job, our duty, and if we are not giving, if we're not even trying that, then we are committing violence. In fact, in Bhagavatam, we did read one place, Prabhupada did write that Indians, because they have this knowledge of Bhagavatam and they are not distributing to the world, these Indians are the real cause of all the chaos and the problems in the whole world. So this is the duty, real duty. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that Bharat Bhumi te Manushya Janma Haila Jahar Janma Sarthak Kari Kar Paraputar. So those who have taken human birth in this great land of India, they should fulfill Janma Sarthak Kari. They should fulfill this human life by doing paropakar on others, by doing this real charity, which is the real charity is to give the spiritual knowledge to others. So means first we have to take it, we have to adopt it seriously, the spiritual practices, spiritual knowledge, and then we have to try to give to others. But at the same time, we have to understand we should not put others into distress. Any kind of distress, whether physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It's difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. Because one way we have to preach, on the other hand, we think we should not disturb them. But Krishna will give the right knowledge, right guidance from within the heart when we start preaching. But we have to preach. Everybody has to preach. Preachers doesn't mean we have to hold big classes. We have to put on dhoti, kurta, or sari and tilak and this. No, preaching means just preach it. We share whatever knowledge we have received from Prabhupada, we just share with others. That is preaching. We just share whatever has transformed our lives, our hearts. And if we are thankful to Prabhupada for that, we should just share that knowledge with others. And that is preaching. Preaching is also by our behavior. So words are not the only way we preach. We preach by our actions also. We preach by how how clean we are in our lives, in our dealings with others, even physical cleanliness. That's preaching. If we have a nice temple, nice altar at home, or we that's also preaching. Mataji, they can cook, then serve. So anything and everything we do in our spiritual life, that can be considered as preaching. But at the same time, giving the knowledge to others, that's real preaching. Because by that, they can really get transformed. And moreover, Prabhupada has also explained that even if we cannot give lectures, at least we give the books to others. So Prabhupada can preach through these books. So if we are just being an instrument in that preaching mission of Prabhupada, that's also preaching. Just we have Prabhupada. That's all. So that's real practice of non-violence. Third one, Prabhupada is explaining tolerance. Tolerance means that one should be practiced to bear insult and dishonor from others. So humility means do not expect honor. Tolerance means you're ready for the insult and dishonor. One should be ready. If one is engaged in the advancement of spiritual knowledge, there will be so many insults and much dishonor from others. Why? Why? If a person is just doing good for others, why people want to insult him and dishonor him? Dishonor is very light word actually here. People would try to kill the person who's engaged in advancement of spiritual knowledge. Why? Because it actually, the previous verse where Prabhupada said one should not put others into distress. People get into distress. Of course, devotee doesn't want them to, but people do get. Why? Because if we are preaching, telling them whatever advancement that you're making materially, it's a wastage of time. It's a that you're not utilizing your body properly. And of course, if somebody gets fanatic about preaching, also we also say that, oh, if you eat meat, then you're going to get the human, or going to get the animal birth next life, and this is not worth it, and this and that. Of course, there's a way, there are tactics to preach properly, but still, even if somebody is preaching properly, people do get insulted, and they try to retaliate. They do retaliate. So we should be, actually, even if it is our fault that we preached wrongly, or not a fault, but still we will get insulted and we will get dishonored. This is also arranged by Krishna to test our tolerance. Because tolerance is one of the qualities that we have to develop. This is expected because material nature is so constituted. Even a boy like Prahlad, who only 5 years old was engaged in the cultivation of spiritual knowledge, was endangered when his father became antagonistic to his devotion. So father Hiranyakashipu, was not against his devotion as much as he was against him being subordinate and being surrendered to. Of course, Hiranyakashipu thought Vishnu is my enemy, and his own son was getting surrendered to his enemy. And then Prahlad Maharaj was also preaching to his fellow students. Hiranyakashipu was afraid, this will just create problem for me in my sense gratification, in my kingdom. Of course, the kingdom is for his sense gratification. And that's when the people, general people, the karmic, materialistic people, they get afraid. What are these devotees doing? If they continue like that, what will happen to our life of eat, drink, and be merry? Jesus Christ, when he was preaching about God, kingdom of God, devotion to God, Roman Empire, they got afraid of him. If this guy preaches like this, who will come and listen to us? Why would they follow us? So let's get him killed. First they dishonored him. First they socially, they beat him up so people don't follow him. And then they put him on the cross. Haridas Thakur was beaten. He was ordered to be beaten in 22 marketplaces. Why? Both Brahmins and the Muslims, they got against him. Brahmins were against him because Haridas Thakur, being a Muslim, he was chanting the holy names of Krishna. And he was preaching everybody to chant the holy names of Krishna. And Brahmins were like, if he preaches like that, who will come to us for Karma Kanda procedures? We will not get our money. And if we don't get our money, what will happen to our eat, drink, and be merry philosophy, lifestyle? Muslims got offended. Muslims were afraid. Oh, if he is a Muslim and he's chanting Hindu names, what will happen to our religion? Because him being a Muslim, can go and preach to Muslims to become Hindus. Nothing about philosophy, nothing about anything else. It's all about sense gratification. And if people feel that their sense gratification will be hampered in any way, then they don't like it. Same thing happens between two countries. Forget about spiritual preaching. If one country does something and the other country thinks, oh, he's like, they are attacking Kashmir, so what will happen to us if they get Kashmir? So let's attack, let's fight. Kashmir was there before India was there, or when India was, I don't know, how, whichever way you want to see it. Krishna had already made Kashmir before all these politicians were there. This is all about sense gratification. Spiritually elevated people, because they preach this message that you're not this body. So don't worry don't give so much of importance to bodily sense gratification. Think of going back to Godhead. And then that's when people get worried. And they get worried about little things also. Oh, these people come, they'll say, oh, don't eat onion and garlic, so I don't like it. And it's a very minor thing actually. But this is what happened, and has happened in the past, is happening, and will keep on happening. And then that's why the devotees have to be very, very tolerant. Because they know the purpose of Krishna. They have full faith in Krishna, full faith in Krishna's teachings, full faith in Prabhupada's books. They have full faith. So even if somebody insults or dishonors a devotee, even if he beats him up, I got the lesson. No big deal. And he still thinks well, he wishes well for the person who has dishonored him or beat him or insulted him. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave the example of a tree. He said, be more humble than a grass and be more tolerant than a tree. Why? A tree has only fruits and flowers and shade to give to others. If somebody is hungry, he can go under a tree and have the fruit. If somebody is tired, he can sit under a tree, get the shade, and get his energy back. If somebody is feeling depressed, he can smell some beautiful, wonderful flowers, and his depression can go away. So why like a tree? Because this is all the tree has to give. So we have to become like a tree. Means anybody who comes with any problem or any issue, we should only give him fruits and flowers and shade or a place to rest. This is all tree has to give. He doesn't let his branches beat up the person. When the person comes to take rest. So one has to become like a tree. One has to develop so many good qualities. No matter person, any person who comes with negative thoughts, negative feelings, a devotee should only give good vibes and good counsel and good instructions. Because this is all a devotee should have. So these qualities, one has to work upon them. It's not like one morning, one fine morning, we'll get up and we'll have these qualities. No. We have to develop this at the same time. Um, more we make progress in bhakti, these qualities will appear or become more and more intensified in us. How we work on these qualities, just like humility. When we go and pay obeisances to the deities, means we are trying to be humble. We pay obeisances to the devotees. We say every day. Means we are chanting and we don't have to pay obeisances. For one fine day, we'll become so humble because we have become pure devotees. We will pay obeisances. No, we keep on paying obeisances. So somehow, sooner or later, at least some quality of humility will develop. Similarly, tolerance. Similarly, non-violence. We have to keep on preaching. It's not like when I become fully self-realized, then only I will preach. Realized by preaching. We are trying to say this message. Krishna will give us more and more realizations from within the heart. That's what he's there for, to help us. If we help in his work, because that's similarly tolerance, we have to keep on practicing tolerance. Maybe for like month or so, we can lose our temper very soon, very fast. But if we keep on working on this problem or issue or this quality, we can slowly see, okay, I don't get angry so fast that I used to. At the same time. So that helps in becoming more and more tolerant. Understanding the other person is also right perspective. And everybody is right actually from their perspective. Even Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu was quite right, absolutely right from his point of view. Of course, it wasn't right from Krishna's point of view, but from his point of view, he was absolutely right. So by looking at everybody else like in this way, we develop tolerance. Of course, we have to understand their point of view, but we have to understand at the same time we know what is Krishna's point of view or Shastric point of view. So somehow or other, we have to preach, we have to convince the other person this is the right way. So tolerance is very much required. So anyway, sorry, I only covered three qualities. So we'll cover the other next time. Anybody has any question or comments? See, this is what happens when I'm not sleepy. If I was sleepy yesterday, I could not even pay attention to what I was saying. So today we did cover some more points. Anyway, any questions or comments?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was a very nice class.
Thank you, Martha. See, you all tolerate me every day. Listen to all my ramblings.
Not like
tolerance.
that. Not at all.
Your humbleness, Prabhu, despite being at such a far place, you still make out time after the entire day's work I mean, it's your humbleness and your greatness, Prabhuji.
Well, I should not be looking for honor from others, I guess. That is humility.
Seriously, Prabhuji, we are very grateful to have these classes daily.
No, actually, I'm grateful. I get to read Prabhupada's books and talk about them. So anyway, I guess we stop. You all have a wonderful Lord Shiva. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Jai
Thank
Shri
you very
Prabhupada.
much,
Jai
Prabhuji.
Srila
All glories to
Prabhupada.
Srila